If you have been following this channel, you may have noticed that we have one video that is very popular. How to start a hollow block concrete business.
I'm happy. We've been talking for a little while now. People were telling me to come meet you because I'm in the city now.
Yes.
I'm happy. Like, I'll just say right now, for my channel, we got a tour of the place, and this guy is amazing.
Thank you. This video, I am explaining how to calculate your materials when you're running a business where you're producing cement blocks. In this video, I explained in details how the calculations are done. But today, I just want to make it even much easier for you. I've decided that I should be doing some videos to explain how to calculate your materials when you're producing blocks, and also how to calculate materials when you're building a fence, how to calculate materials when you're building your house. So in this part one, I just wanted to teach you about I'm calling them the bullets for you to be able to remember all the time, so that when you are doing calculations for your building or your business, you have to use this kind of bullets to help you to do the calculations. All right, I haven't been, doing videos for quite a while, so it's like I have to start again to become, photogenic, because now I have almost forgotten how to stand in front of a camera and start to explain or teach this kind of knowledge that I have on the whiteboard. Okay, so I'm saying cement block business because most of the people that have been watching my videos, their intentions were to start a business. Some people are already in business. They would like to be able to calculate your profit and loss, because the cement block business, many people are failing because they're failing to calculate their profit or their losses. But now this actually helps it to make it easier for you to be able to do the calculations. Like if I look at this, as I've said, bullets to remember, and this is just part one. Then the next part, maybe I'll explain how to calculate for your fence when you're building a fence. The other part, I'll explain how to calculate for your building your house. All right, but I've also just given an example of how the calculations can be done for building a house. But there will be more details. I think when I'm getting to part 3, part 4, part 5, I might be sharing the spreadsheet that I promised you. I'm busy working on it. I'll share the spreadsheet so that now you can be able to apply the knowledge that you've learned here on your computer to let the computer do the calculations for you. But I will be able to maybe supply the spreadsheet to some of the people who are interested. We'll have to discuss about that. All right, so in the video, I also explained that you have to always understand this. The point number 1, which says 1 ton of a quarry dust or sand is equal to 10 wheelbarrows. I discovered this out of experience. I remember I was building a house for somebody, and then I couldn't afford to be traveling, collecting the materials using a big truck. So I was using my 1 ton pickup. So every time I used to go to the quarry, we'll put the pickup on a weigh bridge, and then they will load 1 ton quarry dust in it. So when I come to the site, when I remove the quarry dust out of the wheelbarrow, I used to get 10 wheelbarrows. Out of the pickup, I used to get 10 wheelbarrows. So this is where I found this calculation of 10 wheelbarrows. Yes, wheelbarrows are different. We were using a standard size wheelbarrow, which is a Lasher, made in South Africa. So if you're in South Africa, you should be able to not be confused with this one. But I know there are some people who are in America, they're using the big wheelbarrow. But anyway, in a ton, you will be able to get 10 wheelbarrows. So that's the point number 1. Point number 2, a bag of cement plus 5 wheelbarrows should be able to give you 35 cement blocks. All right? So when I offloaded that Qualitas from the pickup, I used to get 10 wheelbarrows. And then when I make blocks out of that, I used to make 75 blocks. So which means that I was getting 10 wheelbarrows. But now the mixture that we are doing, we are taking 1 wheelbarrow and we're mixing with 5 wheelbarrows. It's giving us 35 cement blocks. But now if you do 2 bags of cement, it means you have now to do 10 wheelbarrows, which is giving us the 1 ton, giving us 75 cement blocks. So in a ton, so I've actually explained to say 2 bags of cement plus 10 wheelbarrows is equal to 75 cement blocks, which is also equal to 1 ton of quarry dust. All right. So these are the 3 bullets that I think that if you can be able to memorize them or understand them, you will find it very easy for you to do your calculations when you're doing a business. So which means that you know now, if they give you how much, let's say on a ton, when you go to buy your quarry dust, they tell you that 1 ton is equal to maybe $5 or $10, then you know that on a 10 ton on a 1 ton of wheelbarrow, 1 ton of pickup, you are going to make 75 blocks, which is going to cost you so much of a ton. But you're also going to use 2 bags of cement, which you also know how much it costed you. So automatically you know how to calculate only on the materials how much it's going to cost you for a ton in terms of cement and in terms of the quarry dust. But then you know that you're going to make 75 cement blocks. All right. And then, which means that you will also have to just add the transportation. So if, for instance, you are going to hire a 30 tons, 40 ton truck that will carry the quarry dust for you, you know that on that there's going to be about 75. There's going to be, on 40 tons you're going to have 3,000 cement blocks. So I've given an example here to say, normally in Malawi, and also I think in South Africa, an average 3-bedroom, because most of the 3-bedroom houses, they will just have 3 bedrooms, sitting room, a kitchen, and also they will have a bathroom. That simple 3-bedroom house will give you approximately 3,000 blocks. Sometimes they can come up to 3,500 if you're adding a garage, maybe you're adding a storeroom, and also you're adding an en-suite room in the same house. But say, for example, it's just a straight 3-bedroom house, a kitchen, sitting room, and a bathroom. You will get you will use about 3,000 cement blocks. Now, if you're using 3,000 cement blocks, now we said that on 1 ton, it is giving us 75 blocks. So we are dividing the 75 into the 3,000. It's giving us now 40 tons. So for a 3-bedroom house, you're going to use 40 tons of quarry dust. For those who are in construction, please explain to me if you feel that I'm wrong. This is the blocks, the type of blocks that I'm talking about here is the 150 millimeter by 400 millimeter by 200 millimeter high. So these are the tons that you're going to use. 40 tons of quarry dust or 40 tons of sand that will be used to make the blocks for that 3,000 blocks which are going to build a 3-bedroom house. Now we're saying that we are going to get 40 tons. Now if we multiply that 40 tons by 10, because on each ton we have 10 wheelbarrows, so we are multiplying that by 10, it's giving us 400 wheelbarrows. So you're going to use 400 wheelbarrows of quarry dust or 400 wheelbarrows of sand to be able to make the blocks that will be used for this house, particular house. And then we're saying that it's 400 wheelbarrows. If we divide that by 5, because we are mixing to make one block, with 1 bag, we're mixing with 5 wheelbarrows. So we divide that 400 wheelbarrows by 5, it's going to give us 80 bags of cement. So now we find out that we're going to use on that 3-bedroom house 80 bags of cement. We're going to use 40 tons of quarry dust. Now it all depends on this. Are you going to get that 40 tons on one load? So you know how much it's going to cost you to transport that 40 tons. And then you're also going to know how much it's going to cost you for those bags of cement. then there you go, you find yourself the calculation, simple calculations just for the transportation, just for the cement, and also the quarry dust, how much it's going to cost you. Yeah, so when I'm going to share the information on how to build a 3-bedroom house, the calculation for the cement blocks I'm going to use, I'm going to go further to explain how much quarry dust you're also going to use, or how much sand you're going to use for building that house. And this kind of system that I'm using, I just started by myself. I never let it anywhere. I just started by myself because I used the experience that I had in the building and also in the transportation and the production of blocks. So I've used this information to come up with this easy way of doing the calculations. I'm using what we call the layman's method, because with this type of method, even if you are not a quantity surveyor, even if you don't have much knowledge in terms of doing calculations for materials, you will be able to do the calculations yourself. More or less, you'll be able to have an idea of how much it's going to cost you or how much you spend. So if you are in a cement block business, you will be able to do your calculations in terms of knowing how much quarry dust you're going to use. So for example, if you buy 40 tons of quarry dust, you know that you'll be able to produce 3,000 blocks. And then from there, you're going to use 80 bags of cement. And so you can do your calculations. You multiply that 80 by the cost of cement, then tons, how much the transport costed you, and you add together. And with also the cost of quarry dust, you divide that by 3,000 to just find out how much it's costing you per block. But this is minus the labor that you're going to be using, depending where you come from, how much you're going to pay for the labor. This also does not add with the water that you're going to use. Normally, when you are doing with 1 bag of cement plus 5 wheelbarrows, you are using 50 liters of water to mix with that. So on the spreadsheet, I can actually add also the calculations of the liters of water, so that you know now how much liters of water you're going to be using to produce your blocks. And so if you are paying per liter, you can be able to do those calculations. Many people in Malawi are producing these blocks. They don't buy the water. They actually dig a well and they get the water from the ground. But when you have women who are collecting water for you, they charge you per drum. So it depends on how many drums you're going to use in it for you to be able to make the 3,000 blocks. So you also add the cost of water in there. Then when you have found the cost of all the materials, the cement, the quarry dust, the transport, the labor, you add that total together. Then you divide that into the 3,000 to get how much it's costing you per block. So that now you can see how much you're selling the block per block. You can minus that. There's a 3,000. How much is it costing you per block? You multiply that by 3,000, divided by the total that is going to be found there, and so that you can be able to, subtract from there, so that you can be able to find your profit. So we will go further, because once I design or I finish with the spreadsheet, you don't have to be doing these calculations like the way I'm doing. You just punch it on the computer, and then it gives you the calculations. All right. I like it that many people are asking me a lot of questions. So people should feel free to ask me questions so that I can be addressing some of the things that you are failing to understand. If there's anything that you couldn't understand here, please ask me the questions, so that I shouldn't go to part 2 before I address those questions. So if you are going to ask me questions, I am going to do a special video to answer all those questions. There are also some questions that were asked in the first video. So the questions that are going to come here, plus those questions, will be addressed in this particular video. Thank you very much for supporting our channel. I see that video is getting up to 50-something thousand views, which is very good. It just shows me that I should also be focusing on sharing this knowledge, because there's an indication that there's many people who are interested to watch this. So don't forget to share this video, like, and also subscribe.